So we're also going to change the thermostat. That's the thermostat housing.
Thermostat housing, and pretty much you remove 2 screws, which are these two 8mm.
8mm screws.
They go right here. You know, you remove them. You take this apart, and you see, as you see that's the thermostat right there.
So we're going to take, that's the old one. We're going to take the old one out.
So this one's going to be kind of stuck when you actually try to remove it. You know, due to the age and the heating, it might get a little bit stuck. But pretty much what you got to do is just kind of push it up a little bit from here, and then kind of clamp on this upward.
Just pop it out of there,
and it'll come out.
Okay,
You know,
so that's the old one.
That's the old thermostat. Now we're just gonna put the new one in there. We're gonna actually just sand this off. You know, sand this off real quick.
Is there a gasket that goes in there too?
Yeah, but it'll come with a new thermostat.
So yeah, you make sure that's clean before you put the new gasket on, huh?
Just gotta clean this up. See?
Okay, so that's all. We're ready for the new thermostat, huh?
Yeah.
It's really important to get all that crud off there, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can get the perfect closure on this. Perfect seal.
Now to get to the thermostat on these Lincolns, you go from from the bottom, right?
You gotta go underneath.
Go underneath.
And you gotta remove the AC compressor to get some. And there's no other way. You gotta remove the AC compressor.
So to change the thermostat, you have to remove the AC compressor and all the components around it, or the hose around it.
The hose, you gotta remove 3 hoses. There's gonna be 1 for the heater hose, 1 for the radiator return, and the lower hose, and there's gonna be the upper part. This is the upper part you're looking at right here, you know. And there's gonna go for the pretty much the upper part of the motor.
Right.
So lower, it is placed like this. It is the front of the motor. It's placed exactly like this, just so you know. So you got 2 screws that will hold the assembly down, the thermostat and the thermostat housing. You put it back together. Heater, lower hose, upper hose. That's
okay, so our next step is just to put the thermostat in there, and then we'll go to the next.
And put it back on.
Okay.
With all my stuff.
So that's the new thermostat, huh?
Oh, so right now we're just putting the new thermostat in. See, there's the old one.
So
It's busted, worn out. I mean, you can't really tell. Like, you see this coil right here is temperatured. It's set for a temperature to where it opens at a certain temperature. Say about 180 degrees, it will push down so the water can't flow. So pretty much when a thermostat goes bad, this coil will not react to the temperature it's supposed to. Therefore, it will make the car overheat.
It's such a cheap item that it's just better to replace it. It's just a cheap item.
It's a cheap item now. The labor, depending on what you got, it may vary from $80 to $250, depending again on the car that you have. Now, this is the new thermostat. You know, we're just gonna put it on there. We're just gonna close it down with some silicone.
You can put silicone on there?
Yeah, we're gonna put some silicone. Alrighty, here we go.
So we got a 2002 Lincoln we're working on. So you got, what kind of silicone is that?
We got the Ultra Grey Advanced Formula gasket maker. So it's just a prevention from this thing to ever leak, you know?
Sure.
I mean, we don't want no leaks or any bad.
Right. I mean, it's a very important item, but it's cheap, but it has to be put in right. You have to do it right.
That's just to do it right, you know. You don't want to leak, or you
Yeah.
don't want to take this thing down because of a little drop.
Exactly. So that's how
this,
you put the
this will
silicone.
prevent, yeah.
That's
this
how
will
you
prevent.
put the silicone on.
Just put plenty of it all around, you know. It won't, nothing will happen. Again, nothing will happen.
You can
if,
be a little liberal with it, huh?
yeah. And just put it a little bit chunky. Now.
The last thing you want to do is put it all together and have a leak.
Yep. So it's best that you actually.
So that's the other part of the housing, which we've already sanded it down.
Yeah.
And got all the
just gotta
the gunk off of there.
Just gotta clean it off. Make sure we get all the little dust off so the silicone could have a maximum performance.
Now you don't really only need to put the silicone on one side.
Yeah, only on one side. Pretty much. You know, as soon as you put enough on this side, it will even out. Okay.
So now we put the housing units together. Just put it together. And what's the size of the bolts that go in there?
8mm.
8mm bolts.
Yeah. There we go. So we're gonna push. Get these screwed in.
Now you've already have the power steering pump installed, right?
Yeah, the power steering pump, it's on.
It's on.
Now, before what I had to remove again to get to the power steering pump was the AC compressor, the thermostat housing, the serpentine belt, and a couple covers that were by the side of the wheel, and then like little frame covers, you know.
So what is the last component to put? Is this thermostat the last one, or the air conditioning?
The last component to put on will be the air conditioning.
Okay, so this one goes on before the air conditioning.
Before the air conditioning, you know, you got to put your power steering pump, then the thermostat housing with the new thermostat, you know.
Right. Okay, so you go power steering pump first, then thermostat, then your air conditioning components go back,
Yeah.
and then the belt, and that does it, right?
And that does it, man.
Okay. Now you can't over tighten these, can
Hand tight.
Yes, you can. You're supposed to do about 10 pounds, 10 to 15 pounds of torque. Now, if you're not used to the, like, you know, to the pressure, it's best if you get a torque. For example, it would be,
you could get a torque wrench. I've heard people they get it tight and then maybe just one little more snug turn.
yeah, about a quarter more.
About a quarter more. Yeah, I've heard that.
Right here. So pretty much, you see it's hand tight right there.
Right.
See that?
And then go
So-
one more quarter turn after that.
So now, that's it. That's it. Okay. So you see how at the end of your setup, you're gonna see how the silicone slips out of the edges. That means that it's actually sealing. You see that? All around. So that's where you gotta put enough of it, you know, so you can actually make that seal.
Right.
That
That tells
extra
you
seal.
you did a good job
Yeah.
when it's
actually pouring out the sides, you know.
Right.
Now, not too much. Not
That's what we're showing them, the exact amount. So now you're going to put that on, right?
Yep.